Welcome to the Business Leadership Series, where our goal is to inspire you to become the best leader that you can be. I have actually an ISI mastermind friend here today, but also a business owner. We're doing our NYC series right now because I'm in town for business, and there's always amazing business owners. Stathis, man, thanks for being with us today.
Hey, Derek, thanks for having me on. I'm really pumped to talk in shop. I love talking about business.
Hey, give us kind of your backstory. Tell us a little bit about kind of some highlights from your life, and then what you're doing now. I know you've got Firefly Lighting. It's a lighting distribution company, and you're the owner?
Yes, so I am the owner of Firefly Lighting. I'm a lighting distributor here in New York City, so I work with some great contractors, architects, and lighting designers around here, and I supply the lighting equipment for their projects, which at the end of the day means, getting what they need to the project so they can complete their projects, and dealing with tons and tons of problems because it never goes smoothly.
No, it's being a business owner in any way, shape, or form has a set of challenges all the time.
Yeah.
Either you're dealing with logistics and issues because you're busy, or you're slow and you're stressing, trying to figure out how to create momentum and deal with customer challenges and things like that. So, yes, you can't fall asleep at the wheel. Tell me, go back a little bit for me, tell me a little bit about how you grew up.
Yeah.
And tell me a little bit about why you decided to start a lighting company.
So, I grew up right over the river in New Jersey, Kearney, New Jersey, Hudson County. My parents were immigrants. My mother from Cyprus, my dad from Greece. They came over to this country in the 80s, and they American dream. They were able to work hard, get a house, raise myself, my sister. I went to Rutgers University, and I got an economics degree. But I unfortunately graduated during the financial crisis. So I thought I would end up being an analyst on Wall Street. But the summer I was graduating, they were firing people. So it was really, really difficult. I didn't know what to do, and I just ended up going to a career fair, and I ended up getting a position as a sales associate for Prudential Insurance. So, I did my Series 6, I got my insurance licenses for New Jersey, and I did that for 2 years, and boy, did I get my butt kicked. That is sales, and being a young guy doing sales is very, very difficult, especially at the time. A lot of what we were trying to do is help people that were being laid off, move their 401ks to a more appropriate financial instrument for them. And when you have a 22-year-old coming up to you, be like, hey, that $500,000 you have in your 401k, I'm the guy that's going to solve that, issue for you. People were like, how old are you? When my student loan debt was matching their assets that they had in there, so it was challenging, and it was 2 years of doing that job, and I was lucky that my office was one of the best in the countries, and the training was ridiculously awesome. It's the greatest thing that I could ever ask. But even because of that, I wasn't ready to be a salesperson. I got my butt kicked, and I fell into that because at certain times you weren't producing monies, but I still need to go see people, I need to eat, real tough time, I got into debt because I just had to pay for things.
Right.
Then after a couple of years, I'm like, you know what, I've never quit in anything in my life, but I think I need to quit this because it's just not serving me professionally, financially, and any other way around me. So I started working with a coach here in New York City, and I was just trying to figure out what I wanted to do next. And he's like, oh, one of my friends owns a lighting company in the area. He's looking for someone to run their office. You should apply. So I did. I got the job, and I was there for 3 years. And it was an awesome experience. I never knew the lighting industry even existed. And I just jumped in there. I basically started as a receptionist. I was answering phone calls, wasn't making a lot of money, but he saw I was a really bright guy. I went to a good school, and I just, every couple of months, it was like more responsibilities, getting a pay raise, and, I just kind of started doing great things for him, started an e-commerce department, and just really learned the lighting business. So I learned the business model, I learned the networks and the white glove service because he did a lot of high-end stuff. So that was something that really hit me, and I learned so much from. Then towards end of 2014, I was kind of getting the itch of wanting to do something else. And I started in the lighting industry 2012. In 2014, about 3 years later, in 2014, a friend of mine is an architect, Demetrius, is from Method Design here in the city. he was like, oh dude, I'm presenting a project for the Robert Hood Foundation on this project called iMentor. Can you help me get some lighting fixtures? I'm like, he told me what he wanted. I'm like, oh, that's easy. I know a guy. So I gave him the spec. I'm like, this is the light that you need for your project. It's a great product. It's cost effective. You're gonna love it. So I was like, oh, can you buy it for us? I'm like, well, my boss typically doesn't like to buy out projects that are not his project that he designed. He's like, well, why don't you do it? I'm like, I like this. Now, it looked like there was something. So, I ended up bidding out the project, getting the pricing, and putting that together, and I made a couple $1,000s off it. And I was like, oh, this is cool, extra couple $1,000s in my pocket. It's great to just have it. I was still in debt at the time, so I was like able to cut that down a bit. And it was really cool. Just extra money in your pocket never hurts anyone, especially as a 25-year-old.
Right.
And eventually, was I 25? I think I was like 26, 27 around the time.
Yeah, okay.
And he's like, dude, you killed it. I'm like, what do you mean? It's like, you were responsive, great customer service, you knew everything that you needed to know for us. If you didn't know the answer, you were honest with us, and you told us you would find the answer, but you did. And he's like, I could get you 10 jobs like these a year. I'm like, well, I made a couple thousand. I think I made like 3,000 that job. He's like, if I get like 10 jobs, it's 30,000. Like, that's like a bare minimum type of salary. Like, pretty cool. So
for 10 jobs.
Yeah, for 10 jobs. Like, that's pretty awesome. Like, that's a pretty cool pipeline.
Right.
And that's where it started. I ended up a couple months later incorporating into Firefly Lighting, just because like I knew I needed to have some sort of legal protection. I just couldn't be just a dude buying lights and selling it to other people.
Right.
I think there's a lot of red flags there. But I was able to just start a company based on a relationship and a friend. He was just a friend that needed help within the lighting industry for his jobs, and that's where it all started for me.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
A couple things. One, congratulations on taking that journey. I get excited about that.
Yeah.
Mine's had a lot of twists and turns in it. And the reason I'm bringing that up is we have several interns in our agency, and they come in and I see them feeling the weight of the world. They've got student loan debt. They're trying to figure out what they're going to be for the rest of their life, what business are they supposed to start, what career they're supposed to have, and it's not all leading in their favor.
Yeah.
And I sit them down sometimes and say, and it doesn't usually work, but I try to put them at ease a little bit and go, hey, everyone's journey is not set in front of them with a clear path. Mine, I've had several careers. I've had several businesses. I've had different industries I've been in different parts of the country. And I didn't know that I was going to have an agency the way I'm doing now that's done well.
Yeah.
I had no idea. But I did know that I was going to work hard, and I was going to always try to do my best and learn where I was at. And I love your story of sharing that, because to me, and you're young, you're relatively young, but you knew that early on.
Yeah.
What mindset did you have where you said, all right, I'll try sales, all right, I'll go and work at a lighting company, even though I bet you never thought you'd work at a lighting company, as you said.
Yeah.
But that is what helped. If you hadn't been open-minded to doing that and answering the phones and having that entry-level type mindset of learning everything, you would not have the company yet.
Yeah, I think taking the leap into entrepreneurship was a manifestation of everything that happened in that short story that I told you. Being in sales was understanding how to be a salesperson, how to understand the needs of the people around you and how to serve them. Then beyond that, it's like the numbers. You know everything is really a numbers game at the end of the day. You know that you have to reach out to 10 different prospects to find someone that's open to talk to you about doing their lighting jobs the first couple of years of your business. So it's like, okay, if one client is like ended up giving me 2-3 jobs a year and I need 12 jobs, that means I have to have 4 clients. That means I need to reach out to 40 people over the course of a year. So like, it got me to that mindset, and also the growth mindset. Back when I was working Prudential, we really emphasized training. And I learned a ton that really is helping me now. And as you mentioned before, we're part of Big A's mastermind group, ISI, and I started working with Scott Beebe with Business on Purpose, because I understand the value of learning and being able to take just principles that are really important for business and applying my business now, but also trying to get through the learning curve without making mistakes. So like you were awesome enough to speak to me a couple months ago. You didn't know who I was, but we spoke about business and podcast, and picking up 2-3 things from you saves me time and money and me making mistakes, which I think is really, really important. And to your point before about your interns, I didn't know I was going to fall into the lighting industry. I remember that summer being on the phone with one of my mentors and being like, I don't know what I want to do in life. And I was just throwing out different ideas. But I knew working at that company wasn't going to get me to where I wanted to, and I didn't even know what that was, but I knew I had to find something, an opportunity to be able to build the vision of the life that I wanted, and that was entrepreneurship for me. And I, took the plunge because I had nothing really to lose, to be quite honest with you.
That's great. Thanks for sharing that. And another thing I love that you're talking about is something I wish I had done, but I was a knucklehead. Maybe I still am, but for many years. And I didn't have mentors. I did. My dad, I had so many people I could look up to. And I don't mean I didn't have mentors, but not to the level that you have them, like with Big A and others. I mean, I heard you multiple times say, well, I talked to my coach.
Yeah.
And I'm going, listen, you're a 22-year-old kid with a coach.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I didn't have a coach at 22. I wish I had. And this is not a sports coach. This is a business life coach.
Yeah, and if you think about it, maybe when I started doing that beginning, let's say 2010, 2011, it was a bit taboo. Like, you don't say that you go to a life coach or something like that. And I think it's just a broad term that people just throw out there, but there are people that are really great with helping you get through challenges and instilling certain principles and ideas that are able to get past you. And, someone with an ego would be like, not for me. And, that's not something I really spoke about for many years, but if you want to grow, you really have to do these types of things. And you have to be open-minded, and you may listen to advice and it may not resonate with you, and maybe you shouldn't move forward with it, but at least you tested your mind to see how this principle or this thought applies to you. And that's what I continually do. I'm one of those millennials that live at home. I'm 32, going to turn 33, and the reason why I'm still living at home now, it's not because I can't afford, it's because I'm spending over $1,000 a month on several different coaching groups to grow, because I'm playing the long game of entrepreneurship. I'd much rather be able to suck it up and live at home right now, even though it kind of stinks at times, in order for me to grow my business on a sound foundation so I can grow the next couple of years, so I could go from living at home to living at a really great place. Maybe a mansion, who knows?
And I want to say to our listeners who are not on the East Coast, it is not uncommon for someone to live at home still.
Yeah.
It's more common now in Arkansas.
Yeah.
It's a little move out at 16, 18.
Yeah.
But I know, because I've got family here.
Yeah.
And that's common.
Yeah. I mean, a studio apartment in New York City, you're going to be paying close to $2,000 a month. And that's crazy.
And you're spending on coaching, man. I love that.
I
wish I was like you when I was a kid, when I was younger.
Yeah. I got a car back in 2006, and last week was the last week I had my car, and this week I just leased a new car. I'm like, great, that's a $300 payment that I need to pay, which I could be using to get a virtual assistant to do more work for me. So it's a give and take, but need a car, need to move out eventually, and that's the game plan for end of 2018 for me. But it's being very thoughtful and mindful of where your finite resources are being used.
That's great. All right, so how many years of business?
So on September, it will be 4 years.
4 years. What's give us some entrepreneurial advice, maybe things that were harder than you thought, and then let's start there. Because being an entrepreneur sounds great.
Yeah.
It does, but but there are some challenges, and I don't want to say I'm a negative, but what were some things that maybe surprised you? Like, I didn't realize I had to deal with this.
So let me tell you about my first month of being by myself. So I ended up being full-time by myself March of 2015, where I saved money. I was like, I'm good for the rest of the year, where I'm living a very basic life. And I spent the first month watching the entire series of West Wing. And I just did that. And I don't regret watching it, but that's the time I could use to build my business. And I think it was part procrastinating, not because I was lazy, because I didn't know what I didn't know. I didn't know what were the things I needed to be working on week in, week out, what the habits were in order to be a successful entrepreneur. And it wasn't until that summer where, I went through all my cash, the projects that were supposed to come through the door for me didn't pan out. I'd be like, maybe I should spend a little bit more time prospecting and trying to get clients to start building up the pipeline for myself. So that was a real turning point. I was like, okay, now let's just say every month I'm trying to meet with 3 to 4 people a month, once every week. I think that's a good standard for me. And I'm lucky that I'm a Greek American, and the Greek American community in New York, New Jersey area is very vibrant. A lot of contractors, a lot of builders, and a lot of very, very successful entrepreneurs. And they were able, because they knew I did some community work, and I was a known person in the community. They were willing to stick out their necks for me and introduce me to people, and I think that was really important to help me out. And along the way, it was, okay, didn't have enough projects, need to prospect more. I got some pretty big projects. I probably should have managed my money a little bit more because everything at that point was in the checkings account. And now working with Big A and Scott Beebe, I do the profit first, where I'm able to understand how the money is coming in and divide it in a way that's going to be sustaining my business in the long term. I know what's mine, I know what's my business, there's no question about that, and now I'm like, okay, I see where that money's going now, I could grow because I could project things a whole lot better. Yeah. Back then I didn't. I had enough money to pay off all my loans and to possibly get an apartment. I was like, oh no, I'm fine. I'm going to the Keen Steakhouse in New York City. I'm buying a new suit, and little things add up. And I was like, okay, I need to stop doing this. I caught myself before things got dire or anything, but I was like, okay, I need to stop pretending I'm a rock star and start figuring things out. And along the way, I'm just, my first client, Demetrius from Method Design, he helped me a lot. Like, he taught me things, and I would lean on people's experiences to learn what I should be doing, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, and that was very helpful for me. And he told me three things. You need to work on your project management, your practice management, and your client management. And those are three things that I try to think about. So, I got to take care of my project management, need to get what my clients need, when they need it, how they need it. My practice management is okay, what are you doing for bookkeeping? Are you doing it by yourself and screwing it up, maybe? Or are you going to get a bookkeeper to do it? How are you building your brand? How does your website look? And a lot of things of that sort. And what was the other one? Oh my God. The client management, the client management is the third thing. It's how are you prospecting and building strong relationships? And those are the three pillars that I think about. With the other pillar that kind of added on top of it is the me management. What am I doing to take care of myself to make sure that I'm giving 100% of my effort to the company? And I'm 32, going to turn 33. By 3 o'clock, I'm exhausted. And so I'm thinking to myself, I'm not eating right. I'm not exercising at all. And people might be like, well, whatever, exercising, eating, or whatever. But when you're, I'm a single guy, and I'm able to work till 7 o'clock at night. But from that 3 to 7, the quality of that work sticks. Because I'm not able to give 110%. I'm not able to focus the way I want to. But I know there have been spurts where I've been able to be really great at those times because I'm eating right, I'm exercising, particularly before the summer, before all the summer fun happened, and I'm able to be very, very productive in those extra 4 hours. And those marginal hours that I'm putting in every day is adding up. So that extra 2 hours, at the end of the week is about 10 hours, and at the end of the month is 40 hours. That means I did an extra week's worth of work on there, and that's the way I like to think about it. But I know I wasn't getting the most out of it, so I'm reflecting now. I'm okay, I need to do better in that sense. So the me management is something I don't believe many entrepreneurs think about, but I think it's something that's really important.
Yeah, thank you. That's great input. I share my own health scare that I had in December of last year. I've been very open about it, so it's not something I hide. And I rode an ambulance, and I thought I had a heart attack. And what it did was force me to do exactly what you're talking about. I wasn't doing that. And so Cord, if you know Cord from our Long Island guy, shout out to him. He helped me with that personal care and nutrition. But I started practicing a 10-hour day. And I have kids and a wife. And I'm faith in my personal time. And so, and I realized that I probably have a good 12 hours that I'm really learning to do some amazing things. But I decided to take 10 of those hours and intentionally craft in an hour of personal time. An hour of meditation and exercise. And 2 hours with my kids not tired. A lot of dads go home and they're tired. And I said, why am I giving my clients my best 2 hours, but my kids at the end of the day aren't getting
Right.
it. So in that 10 hours, 2 of them are time. So it means I need to leave at 3 o'clock
Yeah.
to get 2 hours for my kids, and I'm gung ho.
Yeah.
And I'm finding my productivity from taking care of me
Yeah.
is going way up, and all of my hours, the way they're blocked, I'm getting better vision time, I'm getting
Yes.
better time as a leader,
Yes.
better person time, better exercise, but as you said, most entrepreneurs, many entrepreneurs struggle with that.
Right.
Something else you said I really like, you talked about buying the steak dinners, whatever, all those
Yeah.
things, those are great. I believe in rewards.
Yes.
I really believe in rewards. I think a lot of times some business owners growing something don't take the time to celebrate, and I'm included in that. But I also like that you kind of had a epiphany of going, well, I got to be careful here. I think it's really, and I think that's a great point, is when you're growing as an entrepreneur, I think it's more important to have a clear vision
Yes.
and a desire, a strong desire to everything, all your resources to go towards making that vision,
Right.
more than you desire the lifestyle of
Yes.
entrepreneur. The lifestyle comes later. And in
Yeah.
fact, when the lifestyle comes later, you still have to keep it in check even
Yes.
more because you become fat dad.
Yeah.
But great points, man. I love your mindset as a young entrepreneur. The things you're doing are great. I love the way you're doing it right. You say, I know you're learning some things. Yeah, we're all gonna make mistakes every day. We miss things. Tell me about. I want to hear like your favorite moment as an entrepreneur so far. And it doesn't have to be something big. It could be the first check you got. It could be when somebody gave you an accolade. It could be something massive, but it could be a small moment.
I remember when I grew up, we never really had money. We were working class, and from times poor working class, from times being middle class, and we never had things for us. Growing up, I was the remote control of my family because I would have to go and turn the dial
Sure.
and stuff. And then I went to college and I graduated after the financial crisis. Wasn't making any money, got into debt, and I really never understood what it meant to have a lot of money. And I remember when I got my first check, and it was like, I think it was like a $45,000 check, and I was like, oh wow, finally made a lot of money. Okay, that's it. And I kind of learned money doesn't really, money matters to a point, but it's not this big grand thing, and it's how it allows you to create your vision as you spoke, and how to create your freedom. Where I think it's a means to an end to that
It's an important tool.
Yeah.
Money is an important tool in your family, in your professional life, in growing your business. But it's a tool.
Yeah, and for someone that never really had money, it was like, oh, that's very interesting. Where I just deposited and I just didn't care afterwards. It's just like, okay, it's there. And I think that was really interesting. My biggest things that I think about right now as I'm growing my company and scaling it is really drilling down and understanding the pain points of my clients. Because at the end of the day, I don't want to be like, oh, your shipment and your orders are going to come when they come, how they come, and just be passive about it. But okay, my contractors are project managing a couple jobs at a time. And when these fixtures get delivered is really important on their schedules of where they send guys and how. So I'm trying to really figure out what are their pain points, what are the things that are going to screw up their lives and make it harder for them, and really emphasize building processes to address those challenges, and really training, discovering within myself what it means to be great of addressing them, and making sure as I'm now hiring part-time people, being able to train them to understand it and being able to carry out the tasks that are needed to make sure things don't go wrong for the client. And I think that's really, really important. In the lighting industry in New York, sometimes can be tough for a lot of people. It can be very fast-paced. You could deal with some great people. You could deal with terrible people. And a lot of folks that I've met over the years have had bad experiences. And I come from not really a lighting industry guy, quote-unquote, that's been in different companies. I'm a guy that cares. Oh, by the way, I know how to sell lighting to a contractor and to a lighting designer and an architect. And I think people appreciate how much I care. One of my clients was like, what we like about you, you bleed for projects. There have been times where I know things are not happening to the client's expectations, and I wake up and I just have a sinking feeling inside me. I'm like, wow, that completely sucks for the client. I need to figure out how to fix this. And it may 100% not be my fault, but their pain is my pain, and I'm there to solve the issue for them. I tell people, I'm not here to buy fixtures for people. I'm here to get rid of their problems.
Mm-hmm.
So when a driver is defective in one of the lighting fixtures, I'm not going to go back to the client like, well, the factory needs us to get an RMA. We need to ship it back. They need to test it, and they're going to determine why it's defective, and then maybe your EC, your electric contractor, screwed it up some way by wiring it the wrong way. I'm like, okay, that got screwed up. Okay, I'm paying for a new piece to get shipped over to you within 2 days. I'll grab the old one, I'll ship it back so you guys don't have to worry about it. Then we'll get it determined. And if it's the factory's fault, I'm going to keep, and they're going to compensate me for my money. And if it's our fault, don't even worry about it. Because with my clients, I'm playing the long game. I'm like, hey, let me take care of these little problems for you. I don't want to bother their staff to cut me a check for $150.
Yeah.
It's not worth my time. It's not worth their time. And I know every project there's going to be some amount of money that I'm going to pay to make problems just go away.
Right.
And I think that's really important to be, hey, when things go wrong, where am I just making that problem disappear with the client, even though it's going to cost me a little bit now in terms of time and money, but at the long run, the client knows I got their back.
Yeah, I think that's great. We always, when we're building campaigns, we build 3 buckets: the external, which is a new customer acquisition; the internal for retention and cross-promotion, and then equally with that, though, is that goodwill category.
Yeah.
And I believe goodwill it's a PR move.
Yes.
It's a community involvement, but I believe that's a form of currency.
Yes.
It's what we do with our thought leadership, with our podcasting, with taking care of our customers, with doing those extra things because they're right. Because it's all highbrow things you should do.
Yeah.
That to me is a currency that is an important thread in your company.
Yes.
So love that you're doing that. Hey, in our final minute here, I want to give a plug for your business. So you can share that. But first, give me kind of a long lens vision of your company, kind of where you see it going, kind of where you want to be in the marketplace. What does that look like for you?
Yeah, so I want to take a lot of the values and the things that clients love about me and really institutionalize them within my company. Being able to articulate what problems we know are going to exist and how we're going to solve them and why we do it. And as I'm growing a team, right now I've part-time people working for me, and I'm hoping to transition to full-time staff over the next 12 to 18 months and being able then to train them in doing that. And, I want to work with clients or architects, contractors, anywhere really in the States, because it goes from the factory right to the project, wherever the factory is in the U.S. And I just want to work with some really great clients, people that I don't want to deal with contractors or just yelling at me because they just need someone to yell at, but people like, okay, we get it that this is how things go, and I appreciate the fact that you're doing whatever you can to solve this issue for us. I think that good relationship is really important, and I would love to go national in terms of getting some really great projects. I don't need to get every project in the world, but when there's a couple of amazing projects for an amazing group of people, I want to be there for them.
Awesome. Love it. Hey, how do we find you if our listeners want to just learn more about you and get to know you?
Yeah, well, I spoke about it with you a couple months ago. I need to update my website, but I have the basic.
That's how I'm selling you on it right now.
Yeah, exactly. Like Stathis, you got your website done a couple months ago. But my website is fireflyltg.com. Hop on there. It's very basic, but you can leave a comment on there, and I'll get an email that you reached out to me. Then we can have a conversation. But more than anything, I just love having this conversation with you.
Cool. Man, Stathis, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I'm excited for you. I'm proud of what you're doing.
Thank you.
The sky's the limit for your growth right now, and I enjoyed it. Keep enjoying the ride because this is what we're doing.
Yeah, no, it's great.
This is entrepreneurship right here.
You know what? And I can't wait to take that next step and be able to talk to you about it, and hopefully your listeners can learn a thing or two, and I will continue learning from your guests because you have some great people on as well.
Hey, thank you. Hey, before we go, you have a podcast too. Do you want to plug that?
Yeah, so I've gotten involved in doing some things in New Jersey, locally, politically, and I have a podcast called Jersey XYZ, and we talk about the policy and politics of New Jersey for our generation X, Y, and Z. I think a lot of people talk about the national news, which it's important, but what happens locally is much more important, and they're able to address people's concerns, and instead is their issues a whole lot quicker. So I just wanted a way to spotlight certain issues in New Jersey and to speak about what challenges that we have as Gen Xers and Millennials and Gen Z growing up in New Jersey and working there.
Awesome. Again, I'm proud of you for having a voice and doing something about it. Some people have an idea, but they don't grab a microphone, or they don't start a business. They just say, "I'll say that for somebody else." That's fine, but I'm glad that you're doing it. So, hey, thanks again, buddy. And,
Thank you.
Look forward to seeing all the other great things that you're doing.
Awesome. Thanks.